All right, so I did have a few people ask me to basically do a walkover of our setup on this Jeep. We've only had this for about 2 weeks now. We transferred over a lot of our items. We did transfer over the steel bumper package from the other, so you might recognize that. You've already got the setup of the winch fair lead on there. Coming up, we got the Cascadia 4x4 solar panel charger with the 32-inch light right out there on the hood. As you can tell, we mounted the Cascadia 4x4 light over here, just did a couple screws right on the top. And we are covering this here in a different video with the relays with both the rock lights and the side oracle lights. There's a couple videos on that too. When I did the Cascadia 4x4 light, solar, I went ahead and ran that below. I'll show you there. And we ran that down below just because I thought it looked a little better. We did the little hinges, which are amazing. Wouldn't do without that. This is a little 4-cylinder 2.0 turbo. We got the factory extended rails for the steps with the half doors. As you can tell, when that comes on, we've got all that nice lighting down below to the side. We have added in the ram mounts with the Carolina Metal Master balls that screw into that, and we've got the same thing down there. We use that for our radio. I've got in one of the foot pedals to the side there, and then we've also got in our little light right here, and this is how we can also turn on the outside rock lights and the oracle lights for use. The underlighting can also be done with just pushing auxiliary 3. She did name it Bender. She's got a new license plate coming in, so stay tuned for that one on some of the videos. And we've also got the Stealth bumper, the Stealth Fighter. We really like the angles that it's able to get. Kind of clear some of that up. We did put in some of the emergency lighting. As you've seen on some of the other videos, we threw one of them back there and the other one up there for now. Still haven't finished up all the wiring yet. And going for aux 4. We'll show you that. So that's the side lighting on it. Just a disclaimer, I am a first responder, and this is used only when I basically roll up onto the scene of an accident and immediately need to get out and to assist until an actual vehicle for first responder can get there to take my place, and then I can leave. This is not intended at all for me to stand by with the vehicle and to deal with any type of wreck or anything like that, but just if we roll up on something. Then moving on, we've also, if you have the Taser JL, you also have the option to hit the unlock, lock, unlock, and then it actually is going to also put in the factory lights, using those as additional strobes to keep going. So that's one option to keep in mind also. I've got that set up for just that much more light to kind of grab that attention. As you can see, we've also got the rock lights on underneath, which are activated by the entry lights. Cover that in another video. With that being said, it does light up the sides with the light, and as soon as the entry mode goes to turn off, that does also turn into just your orange flashing light, and that's just tied in with your regular turn signal. Also got the Moto Built license plate. My first video did show some of the errors that they had done, and it does seem through the years they have corrected it. This is our second one that we've gotten from them for this vehicle, and totally happy with it so far. So as we discussed on the previous videos, the lights coming on the oracle and using the rock lights coming on as the entry mode lights was extremely useful, but we started noticing that the lights weren't at full brightness. They were kind of competing for how much electricity and amperage could come through that line. So what we ended up doing is we tied them into relays, and by doing that we come off of the auxiliary wiring, and the auxiliary wiring plugs into the relay. So we've got like the rock lights on this one and the oracle white lights on this one here. And what that allows us to do is, by using that 2 in 1 out, is we use the input to trigger the relay on, and then the relay is on a positive wire with a fuse straight to the battery. So when it gets that signal to turn on, it ends up having the full power that it needs. But what we started noticing is, because the Wrangler doesn't have the truck bed light that comes on at full power all at once, we were noticing that we were getting a little bit of a flickering, and it kind of ramps up that brightness of the entry light. So what you start hearing is a noise of the relays, and I'll show you what that sounds like. Now what it's doing is you're hearing that as it ramps all the way up to the full amount. And there's no way I could really get to bypass this. The lights, you do see a little bit of a flicker in, but very little. So I was able to look up a part which actually gives us the ability to do away with that. And it basically takes 12 volt input, anywhere from 9 to a higher amount. And I can put this list up here. So the input here is 9 volts to 36. And what it does is it basically kind of levels out the voltage output to only 12 volts. So it's either on or it's off. So let me put this in line. This here's my 2 in, 1 out, as we discussed earlier. And I have it from the entry light, which is down right here. That white wire runs up to one side of it. And then the other side I actually put right here. So I have a switch. And that will also trigger not only those lights so we can use them, but it'll also trigger the underneath lights. With that being said, at the same time, we can use auxiliary 3 to do that also. So let me get that unplugged and we'll go from there. All right, so as you can tell, all I did was put our incoming is the red wire, and it is incoming from either the lights that are on underneath coming in and coming out, or from this coming in and then going out. So this, it just takes one of the two and puts output voltage. It's on the incoming side of this, gets leveled out, and then sends it out. And in doing that, as you can tell, they are on. And if I go ahead and hit the lock button, the relays instantly turn off and you don't hear that ticking. Same thing with if I open the door. Notice how it no longer does that ticking noise. So that's a way to solve that problem there. Now coming back up inside here, depending on which model you have, you might have some of the equipment that's up in here, but we're just gonna mount this up on the back side and tie it down. I'm gonna zip tie this back down to where it's all hidden on the back side of that. The 2 negative wires can be connected as one to right here, and we're just going to clean this all up now. And here's the final install. As you can tell, I'm able to get this up on the back side. Just use 2 zip ties. It's going to be held in place there. Zip tied that back down and just kind of clean this all up. Just kind of get that cleaned up, and we'll put the panel back on now. And so when you walk up and you hit the open button, here would be your downwards lighting towards the ground from the Lux rock lights. You can watch those, and then the lighting off to the side there. All right, and before heading inside the Jeep, we do have the skid plates for both the lower control arms of the rear and the differential front and rear. Heading into the Jeep, we also installed one of the tailgate tables, pretty standard there. And we're gonna see if we can get from this angle here. This is going to be, it's called the G spot or the gear spot. It's a bag that goes up above. And as we move inside, I'm gonna bring the light with me and get some of the light going so you guys can take a look at that. Oh, she's got her little storage bags here on the side. Got those off of Amazon, I believe about 50 bucks for both the left and the right one. All right, on the inside, we moved these over from the 4-door also. These are, I believe, a DS18 makes them, at least the covers. They're actually Pioneer speakers, and they allow it to be a 6.5-inch speaker with tweeters on it. Great install, adds a lot. Right behind that, you see that is the G spot, also known as the gear spot bag. We found that while up in Tennessee at the Jeep Invasion this last year. I'll try to get from the back side. It is a little hard to see while inside with the windows and everything on. And we also did the front speakers, replaced those out, and I got a set for the lower coming too. She drives with the doors and windows off most of the year, and because of that, she just kind of needs a little bit extra volume. So coming in the back here, that is the gear spot. As you can tell, it's got 3 individual locations to go in. It kind of hangs down and gives her a lot of storage on that. might do a separate video on that later.